Hi, everybody. I want to welcome you to the Resident and Family Support Council meeting. As many of you know, we have these on the second and the fourth Tuesday of every month at 3 o'clock. And the link that you use to get into today's meeting is the same link that we use to get into all of our meetings. So always remember that. But if for any chance you can't get to our meeting, because we do know that 3 o'clock things can be happening in your worlds, if you can't get into the meeting, we always record these and then we put them on our YouTube channel. I see Stephen Maxwell, my cohort here, is putting stuff into the chat. So look at those links. One of those links there is for the YouTube channel. Also, I want to let everybody know that we also do have a Facebook page. So if you can get on Facebook, Stephen will put that information in the chat as well. You can find the topics for our meetings on there. And if you're not really you don't get on Facebook, many people are not getting on Facebook all the time anymore. They don't want to put their social media out there. That's fine. You can also always email me, and I can put you on the invite list. I love it because usually right before these meetings, I get a bunch of people emailing me wanting to get on the list. And then after the meetings, I get more people saying, can you get me on that list? I want to get these meetings. So that's wonderful. And it really is, that's what we want to do. Because the purpose of our meetings is to empower people. We want to make sure that we're empowering people with information and that we're doing whatever we can to make sure that life is good for those that are living in long-term care. So that's the motive behind it. So today I'm actually going to I'm going to flip my video and see if you can see the people that are joined me in this room today. Okay. Okay, there we go. I think I got everybody here. Okay. We had things kind of set up and then we got a little off kiltered, but I think we're good now. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so I just want to go ahead and I'm going to go around the room so that everybody can introduce themselves, okay? And just tell a little bit about, so if you guys could introduce yourself, say how long you've lived here, that would be fantastic, okay? So how about we're going to go ahead and start with you, Trish.
Okay, my name's Trish. I've been here a little over 3 years. I came here after a long stay in the hospital and got rehabbed, had a couple of surgeries, got rehabbed again, and I'm hoping to leave in a few months.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, that's really great, Trish. Well, I hope those plans work out for
I
you.
hope so too.
Pam, why don't you go ahead?
I'm Joyce.
I'm sorry, Joyce.
Yeah.
I put it in the wrong place. Joyce, why don't you go ahead and you share with us about yourself?
Sure. I'm coming up on my second anniversary, May 7th. I'm came here after losing family members, and it was difficult, a life at home, and coming here I've been more independent, which is I know unbelievable to some people, but I actually am more independent here, get around more, and have more of a social life than some of my family and friends.
Oh, that's very cool. I love to hear that.
I really enjoy the lifestyle here.
Oh, that's wonderful. So I really am looking forward to getting your perspective about
Okay.
some things, really. Thank you. Okay, and then we've got Pam. Pam, you want to go ahead and share with us?
Yes, hi, my name is Pam. I've been here a year and a half. I have enjoyed being here. I was really independent before I came here, but I suffered a stroke. So I couldn't live alone anymore because I can't cook. And I've enjoyed it. I've met a lot of friends.
That's wonderful. Well, welcome and thank you for being here today. I
Thank you.
appreciate it. And then we've got Jojo. Jojo.
And I've been here 5 years. I couldn't live at home. I had to sell my home and everything. My family is dead. And I've been here for 5 years and I love it.
So I think one of the things that we're hearing right here is that everybody came here for a reason, right? That you had to, you moved into this place for a purpose, for a reason, because you needed the
Mhm.
care, you needed the assistance. Something happened in your life, something catastrophic happened in your life and took you out of the community and brought you into this community instead.
Mhm.
And I'm hearing some really great things about the home that you live in now. We're in Shorewood, Illinois. So we're out here by Joliet. And so it's really great to be able to be a part of this today. And I'm looking forward to some things that we can share about ourselves. The first comment that I wanted to ask you guys, because this is a big, huge debate in the long-term care world, is the language that we use. Language can influence the way people feel and think about things, right? So it's been there's been a lot of conversation around professionals in regards to what language should we use when we're talking about people who live in long-term care. What words should we use to describe them? Do we call them people? Do we call them resident? How do we refer to people? So what do you got? What are your thoughts on this? I'm seeing that Joyce, you've got an answer for this question.
I like resident
Resident,
because I don't like patient
okay,
because I do need help, but I'm not ill right now. I'm very fortunate to be the best I've been in several years. But I like resident because I am a resident here. And then we also have people who come to just rehab and they're not here long-term resident. So sometimes we call them rehabbers.
oh,
But
okay,
yeah,
the rehabbers.
you know, you're either long-term or not, but you're a resident.
So there's been some thoughts that word feels very institutional.
Oh,
Does it
yeah.
feel that way to you or not?
Not to
Resident?
me.
Yeah.
No.
Good. Okay, so,
No.
so so right there, you've helped me because we've struggled with this for a long time.
Mhm.
What do people want to be called? So that's really, really helpful for me to hear this. That resident is an okay word.
Oh, yeah.
Are you in agreement, Jojo? Is resident an okay word for you?
I think it's better than patient.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think with the rehabbers, they might object to be called residents because they have a residence. They don't
Mhm.
consider this their,
Right,
And
because
they have a goal to leave.
yeah.
they have an immediate goal to leave. I
Mhm.
mean, some of you have goals to leave too, but not that immediate goal.
Exactly.
to
Maybe
leave.
long-term for some and
Yeah.
Mhm.
maybe not at all for some, but I feel like this is, if you think of like an apartment building, there's residents. And it's more of like a communal residence.
Okay, I like that. I like.
Mhm.
So then there's another word that people use that people say that in the professional end of things, which professionals don't know what they're talking about. You guys are the ones who know what you're talking about. Is the word facility. To use the word facility to describe the place that you all live. There's been talk around using the word home instead, community instead, using residence, using this is the name of the place as where you live. What are your thoughts on that facility word?
The word community better.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't mind facility
Yeah.
versus nursing home. I think nursing home has a kind of negative, and from the past. I think people think it's a lot of old people laying around in beds who are very ill,
Mhm.
and we're not.
Okay,
I mean,
right.
I
You
think we
guys,
like to think we're a vital community.
exactly. I mean, that's what I'm seeing.
Sure.
I'm seeing that with all of you. How about you, Pam? Do you feel that way?
Yeah.
What are your feelings about the word facility?
I don't like it at all because it kind of speaks of somebody who is in bedridden,
In their
incapacitated.
pajamas all day.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
exactly. huh?
Okay. So the word that you like is the word community. You like
Mhm.
community,
Or residents.
residents. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just writing down some notes so I can share this with other people.
Long-term care community, long-term
Oh, long
care
term.
resident,
Mhm.
or physical rehab community.
Yeah, I think
That's a little-
nursing home is kind of an antiquated. term.
Yes.
So nursing home isn't a good, you're not liking that
So,
either.
you know.
Okay, okay. Good. Okay, so and the reason community sometimes can get confusing for people because what do we call out there?
Yeah.
Community as well. So that's where, but using that word community does create this greater sense of togetherness. Yeah, that's what I'm feeling, that greater sense of togetherness. So, yeah. Um, I'm sorry, I'm hearing a little bit of feedback, so I'm just gonna mute some people as I'm getting some feedback, just to be aware. So that brings me to this thing that we really wanted to talk about today was community. And that integration, that ability to bring the community outside to the community inside. And so I understand that you guys have done some cool things here. I'd like to throw that question out to the group. What are some of the things that you have done here at this community that have brought you to the larger community? What are some things that you've done?
We're fortunate, we have a grade school right next door. And they
Okay.
come and play bingo with us. They do crafts with us, the kids. It's preschool to 8th grade. And it's a very great experience just to communicate with younger people on a one-to-one basis. And you just get a different outlook other than your own family that you may not see as often. And these are like more grandchildren to us.
Oh, so do you get together with these children a lot?
They come across
They
the parking
walk
lot.
right next door.
That is really cool. How about, do any staff have their kids go to school there, or any,
Some do from here.
Some patients do as well.
some of the people who live here have family members that
My
go?
grandson went to preschool there.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Well, I can see why that does build a greater sense of community.
Sure.
And that is one of the practices that are talked about in person-directed living, is to bring the community in and have children come into the community. So I really, Jojo, could you share with me, does that make an impact on you having children coming into the community or not? Okay, so not everybody. And that's what I love about this perspective, is it's not necessarily everything we do is going to impact everybody. So you're okay with, it's okay that the kids are coming, but it's nothing that adds this huge thing to your life. Or am I putting words
Do
in
you
your
like
mouth?
it when they come?
Do you like it? Oh, you do like it when they come.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so you do like it. I phrased the question a little weird, I think. Okay, so you do like it when they come. Okay,
They brought us gifts, right?
They did that one time at Christmas.
And at Easter.
Yeah,
Last
really?
Easter.
yeah, they had a fundraiser and they brought us gifts at Christmas and then we do like reciprocal things for them. Not that that's, expected. It's just, it's a very nice relationship.
So what does having children interact with children do for you? What does it do? How does it make you feel and think? Pam, do you want to start with that question?
Sure, it just kind of enlivens my spirit, I would say. I really, really enjoy children because I have, 3 grown children and 5 grandchildren. And I just enjoy them totally because they're so honest and open.
So it enlivens your spirit. I really
Mhm.
like the way you phrased
Mhm.
that. I really did. How about you, Trish?
I like, no, the Trinity kids are great. I don't have children, I have 5 nieces, and we always enjoy taking them out, seeing the world through their eyes. It makes everything new again. And that's what I enjoy about children.
So having those kids come here, it kind of helped rejuvenate you because you're seeing the world differently.
Yeah.
Huh.
They'll
like
talk
that.
about their games and their different experiences and their take on what's going on.
Now there is thought that particularly sometimes you'll see it in long-term care dementia units, neighborhoods, whatever terminology, I'm looking at my language, right? With that, and where they'll give people fake babies, fake children to be able to hold. What's your feeling about that?
I have heard of it helping. And there was a situation once I heard about that. A woman was falling out of bed because she was going to go find her baby that she thought she heard crying. They gave her the doll to hold in bed with her to sleep with. She didn't then try to leave the bed. So I think that could be helpful.
It can serve a purpose, a
Mhm.
very large purpose, and that's a
Sure.
really great story.
Sure.
that having that helped. So, yeah, and the other piece where it also equates to is animals.
Yeah.
Stuffed animals versus real animals.
Mhm.
What are your thoughts on that? Stuffed animals versus real animals.
Well, we're fortunate, we have a therapy dog here, a real dog.
Does he live here?
But she,
No.
Oakley is our therapy dog, she's in the therapy department, the physical therapy department.
She comes with the
Mm.
manager.
Yeah,
Every day?
yeah, Monday through Friday.
They had 4 stuffed animals at the end of my bed.
Mhm.
And that's, you know, they're nice to have.
And you like to have those?
Mhm.
What is it about the stuffed animals that you like?
So sometimes they're so soothing and you like to hold them and everything.
It can be soothing, can't it? I do think that it can be.
Plus, I think each represents a win at bingo. Right?
I love that. That is great.
The, to the fake animals, I, I was like perusing the library's, website. And they had these animals on there that had received prizes from the Alzheimer's Foundation. So I'm like, this sounds kind of interesting, so I took them out. And we had them for Thanksgiving, right?
Mhm.
And it was fun. I mean, we were aware that they weren't real animals. I mean, we're aware.
Right.
It's not the Alzheimer's unit.
Right.
But, it was still fun to have them, and they would bark and
Yeah, they were
meow
interactive.
and, moo.
Kind of like a robot dog
Yeah,
or,
it was cool.
yeah, they're intriguing. I think
Yeah.
it's kind of very intriguing to see what it's going
Yeah.
to do.
And it would like interact at like an unknown time and moment. So you may be sitting there eating and all of a sudden you hear this barking at the other table and you're like,
And
oh,
they,
there's a dog in there.
they're motion activated.
Mhm.
Okay.
And maybe sound activated as well, so,
Oh, like motion sensor.
Yeah.
But it brought a little fun.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
yeah.
That's
I'll
cool.
get
And the
them
cat
again.
almost rolled off the table.
So that's okay. That's not offensive to you to not have, to have a stuffed animals or to have a robot animal, or it's not offensive to you at all.
No.
Anybody? Okay, kind of want to put words in people's mouth. But how about if you had the choice between the fake animal or the real animal, what would you do?
Real one.
For real.
The real.
As long as I had someone to take care of the real. one.
Yes.
The
responsibility.
Yeah, yes, we were talking about cats before we began, because I have a cat, and Jojo had a cat. And so we were talking about cats before. I had 2 cats. She upped me. She had 2 cats. Yes, but I'm very impressed by the fact that you have a dog that does come 5 days a week with the head of your therapy department. Does the dog stay in therapy all day long, or does he go around and visit people?
Both.
Both. Okay.
My roommate that passed away, some days she'd stay in bed, and so the manager would bring the dog up to visit her. Cause she'd always have a treat or something for the dog and like to interact with the dog, and she looked forward to that. Oh, I wonder if Oakley's gonna come today,
Uh-huh.
is she here today? So, she's in
Yeah.
therapy, and there's a rolling picture frame of all her photos with everybody. And,
Oh,
I think it makes people look forward to therapy.
yeah, that's really nice. That,
My grandson likes when he has a day off of school, it's Monday through Friday. Because he visits me almost every weekend. But when it's Monday through Friday, he gets to hustle see Oakley. The therapy dog.
so it's
And
even
that's
a
like
way,
bonus.
yeah, it's even a way that some of
Mhm.
your visitors, it can make their visit
Yeah.
more fun,
Right.
having that dog around instead of just sitting there looking at each
Sure.
other all the
Yes.
time, right? It can make it a little bit more fun.
Yeah, we have to go see Oakley too.
That's really great. There are some homes, some communities, that do allow people to have pets
Yeah.
themselves. What would you think about that? What's your thought when I say, would you like to have a dog come in or a cat come live with you? What are your thoughts around that? Pam, you want to go?
I think I had worked in assisted living before I had my stroke. And so the residents there were allowed to have not cat, well, yes, one resident did have cats. And that was a problem because she was elderly and she couldn't bend down and clean the litter box.
Uh-huh.
So that was kind of bad for the room. And then we had another resident who had had a stroke, and I took this darling little poodle home because the lady couldn't remember if she'd walked the dog 5 minutes to go, or if she'd walked the dog the day before. She had no idea. So I ended up acquiring a dog. And it was fun. It was a lovely little dog.
And yet you hear about it a little bit more, I think, sometimes in assisted livings, that people will have a pet that will live with them in
Here it would be
assisted
more
living.
difficult because of
Yes.
the roommate situation.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm.
I used to go to a nursing home, actually in Joliet, where people had birds in their rooms. So if you wanted a bird, you had a bird. They brought birds into people's rooms, which was kind of a cool idea as well, to have that interaction with another living being, but not necessarily one that's, that's a human, that's going to be talking to you all the time and things like that. So, yeah,
The birds.
they still have them.
Oh.
Yep, they still have them. So yeah, it's another idea. Actually, there was Dr. Thomas was one of the ones who he's a gentleman who started this concept of person-directed living. And one of the things that he thought really needed to happen was to bring life into long-term care communities. So he brought in a bunch of plants and he wanted to bring in animals. So he brought in birds. So that's where a lot of that concept about birds came from. And this was at a nursing home in upstate New York, where he brought these birds and plants, and he called it the Eden alternative, like the Garden of Eden, bringing in plants and animals to make people's world have more interaction ability. Instead of just, and this was, oh, it has to be like 30 years ago. So where nursing homes were much more institutional focused.
Now that I think about it, we do have a bird cage near the elevators.
Okay,
But that's maintained by the.
building,
And by the,
probably a company.
Yeah.
by the facility.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And a fish
they
tank.
and a
come-
fish tank,
we
so they have
fish
that life.
tanks on each floor
And a
of the residences, the
And-
second and third floor.
plant people come and take care of the plants.
Plants.
Okay, so how do you feel about the birds and the fish? Do you interact with them? Do you engage with them? Is it something nice to look at, or is it just kind of a part, like a picture on the wall? It's something nice to look at. So you like having that, those community fish tanks, the community bird cages, that thing.
Yeah.
And I know from being in this business for so long that sometimes one of the best days of the month is when they come to clean out the big bird cage and you get to watch them. The guy goes inside the cage. You guys ever witness that where he's inside the cage? Is yours big enough like
It's
that?
not big enough.
Okay.
But they do like section it off and try to catch them
And they have blinds
yeah.
in there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's a
I've been-
Procedure.
I've been to some that are very large and the guy goes in there and if you get an audience, let me tell you, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, so that can be a lot of fun. So talking about the animals, continuing on the topic about being in the community. Sorry, I have something in my eye. About being in the community. Do you guys, can you tell me something that you did prior to living here? What was something that you did in the community that you wish you could continue when you live here? Do you want to go first?
Well, I live
Sorry.
in the city.
Okay.
I like farmers markets, going to those on a Saturday or Sunday, going to a festival, going to an outdoor concert. I know when I saw in the paper that they would have things to do this weekend, and a lot of those things would be things I was used to do.
So things that were just kind of those special event type stuff in the community that made that weekend, that day feel a little bit different,
Yes.
like that farmer's market, going to that
Right.
concert. I know I'm a big love live
Outdoor
music.
yeah.
That's a lot of fun. I don't care if the band's not good or good.
Exactly.
Just being outside in an easy chair, one of those fold up chairs and listening to music can really be fun. And have you ever had the opportunity to do that here?
We have performers.
Performer,
Performers come in, yeah.
but does that give you the same feeling?
No.
It's about the feeling, right?
Mhm.
I'm a recreation therapist.
Yeah.
And so it's always about the feeling that you have. So maybe that's an opportunity. You talk with the activity director. I know of a community that they used to take their courtyard area in front of their building and bring in, instead of having their entertainment in the dining room, they do it out in the summertime in the evening.
Yeah.
And they would have like right after dinner or right before dinner, they would do it and they'd have some music playing outside and people would just go out there with their chairs and sit and families would come, the kids would come, and it made it a
That
little
is
bit.
The one thing I completely miss is sitting outside on a summer evening, maybe a fire pit, you know, something like that with music on. That's
Yeah.
one thing I really miss.
Even just sitting outside with music
Yeah.
on, gathering together on the patio.
The new director is open to having something in the evening, to try at least, to have something in the evening.
Uh-huh.
So
I
we'll
love
see what
that
happens with
idea.
that.
What a simple idea.
I don't know if it'll be outside or involve music, but.
Why
Something
couldn't
after
it?
4 o'clock would be interesting.
Yeah, but what wouldn't it, I mean, what would be the barrier to bringing, to going outside? You have to have tens of millions of people out there, right?
Staff
Just
leaves at
those that
4
want to
o'clock.
go.
Mhm.
Why can't you, why do you have to have a staff? Did you have a staff person with you when you did this in the
No.
community?
But some people can't roll themselves.
Right, but could people bring people out there? These are things to think about. You know, this Dr. Thomas, who I talked about with the birds and the plants, there's a belief, one of the beliefs for person-directed living is risk-taking is a part of life.
Mhm.
If you think about it, we all take risks every
I'm
day.
sure their insurance carrier would agree with that.
Yeah. Right? But you can't, but you can think about it. Is there a way that we can give you that similar feeling? Something that we can do where maybe it's once a month where a staff member stays later. You know, they, instead of coming in the morning, they come in and they stay later in the evening. So they stay to 8 o'clock instead of leaving at 4 o'clock. So they get 4 hours in the morning to be able to run all those errands when the stores are really crowded or not crowded during the weekday. So, you know, those are things. Talk with your activity director, talk with your community if that's something that you want, because there might be other people feeling that same way.
Right.
So this is that empowerment that these meetings are about, to get us all, not just here in this room, but everybody that's on this call to think about, what are those things that I miss? What are those things that I like? How can I have that still stay in my life if I live in a long-term care community? So you know I'm coming up to you, Joyce.
Yeah, and I've been thinking, and I have a great idea that I've loved since I've been here, gardening.
Gardening.
We have, like the trough
Uh-huh.
out back, we have 4 of them. And last year we started a lot of plants from seeds. And we had success with cucumbers. We had cucumbers coming out our ears. We had them for residents, family members were taking them home. And tomatoes didn't make it. We had a lot of flowers that made it. We had basil that almost ate shorewood, and we had garlic and with that residents family member brought. We put it out in the trough and did well. Well, now this year they've added more dirt. I'm
Okay.
excited about that, which brings the level up, so we don't have to stoop as low.
Yes, absolutely.
And we're gonna do more plants this year, vegetables from plants versus starting from seed. So
Oh,
hopefully we'll have more luck with our plants.
I love
And,
that.
Yeah, so we got that coming up in May, and we're gonna do tomatoes,
I love that.
cucumbers again, and our basil, and I think that's it for vegetables, and we got the garlic out there, and I think chives. But we're gonna do more flowers that will kind of simulate wildflowers. So that they'll
Oh,
fill up and fill out.
nice.
But that's what I miss, not being able to get out in the garden.
too.
And it wasn't me, it was a lot of times my family would say no. And here, these people are willing to work with me and help me garden, and I love it, you know, I mean. I
I'm-
live for the summer and the outside, and it's just wonderful to go out there and see the fruits of our labors.
Yeah. Do you guys get to then eat that? Like, will
Yes.
they, so making cucumber sandwiches, maybe? I love a good cucumber sandwich, a little dill, cream cheese on a little rye bread. Oh, that's so good. Oh, I love that.
I made cucumber sandwiches. We had a salad with the cucumbers in them. Everybody was welcome to take them and, you know,
That's
and
fantastic.
supplement their diets.
That's great. That is wonderful. Yeah, and there's nothing like a fresh tomato and mayonnaise sandwich.
Yes.
And I'm not a big white bread person, but on white bread with mayonnaise and tomato. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Salt.
Come
Oh,
out of the garden.
it's so good,
what I'm
that fresh
for.
tomato taste. Okay, now you guys getting me, go ahead, Jojo.
You know, on the back and everything, they were pretty.
And the birds like them, right?
Yes.
Jojo?
So you want more flowers, Jojo?
Yeah, we're gonna have them.
And if you do the wildflowers, they might bring butterflies too.
Because the bees coming and sting, you know.
Uh-huh.
No, I got stung twice.
Yeah,
geez.
that's the risk, right? The risk we take, that's that risk taking is a part of life.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about right there.
Birds and everything. I like to see them. I like to feed them and everything.
Having the birds. Do you guys have bird feeders out there?
We just,
just
built
know,
birdhouses and
uh-huh.
painted them. Yeah, we just had that project last week.
When we're gonna hang them out, I don't know.
Yes,
Soon,
yes, you want to make sure you hang those bird feeders out.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, Pam, how about you? What's the thing that you did in the community that you really want to do here
I
as
wish
well?
we had more music because I love to sing. And excuse me, because I just had oral surgery.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah.
anyway, I just wish we had some way where we could actually start a choir here. Or something, you know,
Choir.
musical along that idea.
I love that idea. A choir, because what would you, if you had a choir, maybe you could go to other places and perform. I'm thinking there's a couple of things off the top of my head that I think, first of all, I know the Area Agency on Aging, sometimes they do luncheons.
Mhm.
Maybe you could sing at some of the luncheons. You could sing for the kids next door, do something, go to them.
They sing for us.
Yeah, why not go sing for them? Why not go sing for them? And you might get them, some of them up and dancing and stuff, which should be wonderful.
Mm.
Beautiful music. And,
At Christmas?
they, huh?
At Christmas time?
Yeah.
Instruments, so they play musical instruments?
One of these guys had a big thing, he had to sit down and.
Oh, a tuba.
A tuba and stuff, yeah,
That was cool.
but, yeah, they were good.
That was fun too, to see that.
Kids, but they were-
You know, that was a suggestion that I used to offer up to homes when I consulted, was to find that piano teacher who needed her kids to practice for the recital. And to come to, why not go to the nursing home down the street and play there? It gives the kids another opportunity to perform.
Mhm.
It's free entertainment for the nursing home. It's wonderful for the kid. It's wonderful for the teacher. I just think it's free. You know, that's why I was always trying to think of things that are free. So that might be, again, something you can suggest it. Maybe there is a band instructor, or talk to the grammar school. My kids in grammar school did take musical instruments and didn't have a lot of opportunity to really practice those things outside the home. And believe me, the one that my brother played the trombone. My mother would have really appreciated it if he could have played it someplace else. He could have played it on your patio out here and maybe nobody would come, but at least he could have played it, right? So did you have any other ideas around that music? Just singing, is that really one of the pieces that you really would love to see? More that singing and being able to perform a little bit maybe? And
That's interesting. I
I love
never
that idea.
heard of that before. It's very interesting.
Mhm.
That would be really cool to
It
do.
would be.
It
We
would.
would just need one person who's able to direct people.
Yeah, that's all it takes. There was a nursing home that I used to work with that had a bell choir.
Mhm.
And the bells were, you typically pick the bells up to pick them up, to ring them, but then that can be hard for people that may have lost some of their dexterity. So
Mhm.
these bells actually, you tapped them and they rang instead.
Mhm.
And it was beautiful. They would perform at all the holidays, and it gave them a really great thing. They performed actually at an outside event, and it was a really neat thing that they were able to do as well, because it made, part of that is, what does singing make you? Does it make you feel good?
Oh, I love it. My life, I've been in choirs and sung since I was quite young. And it just fills me with joy.
Yeah.
And I think people enjoy it, listening.
Yeah. Music can bring back memories as well.
Mhm.
I know that going to church on Easter Sunday, I'm Catholic, and I went to church on Easter Sunday, and they played some old music that reminded me of my grammar school days. And it's amazing how I could still remember those words,
Mhm.
and I haven't heard some of that music in a very long time.
Mhm.
So it can bring back, and it brought me back to where I was in grammar school at that time,
Mhm.
and actually reached out to a girlfriend from that time, and we texted all day on Easter Sunday. So it was very nice. So that's what that can do, right? Make
Mhm.
us have those feelings. Okay, Jojo, what's the thing that you did in the community that you'd love to be able to reconnect to and maybe do again? Can't think of anything? If you think of something, you let us know, okay? So that you can share that if you would like.
Yeah.
Yep, you don't have to.
We already talked about pets and stuff like
Yep,
that.
I know you're a big
Wow.
pet person.
Oh,
Oh,
Bowl,
wow.
Oh, we used to go
Bowling.
bowling.
You from here?
Oh.
Oh.
that sounds like a lot of fun. And
That would be interesting.
And-
Let's go out in the bowling lane and bowl out there.
yeah, you know what, and they have all sorts of adaptations so anybody can bowl.
They have Wii bowling, which is really fun for people.
Oh.
And you don't have to go to a bowling alley. It's something they could do here.
Yeah, have you ever tried Wii bowling?
Missed everything.
Yeah, it takes practice. It takes a lot of practice to Wii bowl. But sometimes it's also just being in the bowling alley as well, because there's something about hearing the crashing of the pins all the time. And there's something about just, I don't know if it's the smell of a bowl, if it's stinky feet, I don't know what it is. But there's something about a bowling alley as well that can kind of make you feel playful. You
Yeah.
can feel a little playful when you're
We
in a
went
bowling
twice
alley.
from here
Okay,
on the bus and use I think the gutter shields, the gutter guards.
Uh-huh.
And I forget what the thing is called, but you set the ball on top.
and then you push it down.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. So that's another idea. So this is part of this is if you had the opportunity to do the planning, do you guys have an activity planning group where you come together and you guys plan the activity calendar, not the activity staff?
Not really.
No.
How would that feel if you planned the programs that were happening in the building? I mean, you can't do everything, right? You can't say, well, we're going to do, we're going to create a stained glass window in the front of the place. That might be difficult, but there might be adaptations that can happen along the way. How would that feel if you had that opportunity to make your daily life what you want it to look like?
That's a great idea, because they're very receptive to ideas. So I don't think that they'd ever be against anything like that.
Mhm.
Is that something you guys feel you
I
might
think
bring
we should do
forward
that
to
at a
somebody?
Residence council meeting,
Yeah.
Mhm.
bring that up, and
John's brought things up
as he,
and that's how we got to that pizza place, remember Aurelia?
oh, it is, the
Yeah.
buffet.
Okay,
Yeah.
The Pizza Ranch, was it?
No, we went to Aurelio's once,
Yeah.
the one over in Plainfield.
Oh, okay.
so you guys have had that opportunity before and you feel pretty secure that they will listen
Yeah.
and they
Yes.
want, as a person who had to help plan activities as a recreation therapist, and I did that consulting for years, it's so much easier to plan if you let the people who live there do the planning, because you don't have to sit there and think, will they like it? Will they not like it? I don't know. Well, maybe these people might like it, but I don't think these ones will. Instead, you bring people together,
Mhm.
and sometimes you have two things going on at the same time, because you've got the people who just want to play cards. And they really love to play cards and they want to play cards every day of the week. So they can do that
Yeah.
every day of the week.
Mhm.
While you also got Wii bowling going on
Mhm.
or gardening going on, right? Those are the types of things that it can start open up the world and make it feel a little different and more empowered for people.
That would be easier in a larger facility, a larger community than this,
So what's the barriers for here?
participation.
I don't know.
So two people make a group.
I
That's
really
easy.
feel like this would be a good thing if we said that there were the actual activity group. Not just say, let's get ideas, where we actually had like, say, Pam,
Oh, yeah.
and, Trish and Jojo, you're the activity group now
I didn't mean the activities, I meant like having multiple activities at one
at one
time.
time. Oh,
But again, if you were in the same room, so let's say you're doing an activity in the dining room and you've got people who like to play cards all the time, or checkers, or
That
chess, or
happens, yeah.
table games, or whatever, and they could be playing while entertainment is going on. Not everybody has to
Yeah.
stop and watch the entertainment. They could be
Right.
doing
The
something.
new
as well.
director has we have nail spa on Thursday, and so she is having, what was it? Trivia Thursday as well as
wow, yeah.
nail.
Or they may be playing cards, there's a puzzle going on, and then there's also like a board game going on.
Uh-huh,
So.
that's great, yeah,
And you don't have to watch the entertainment if you're not interested. You can also stay in the activity room and do what you want to do in there,
uh-huh,
separate from.
Like,
Yeah.
like painting and stuff like that.
That's
And
right.
I like
Painting.
living here too, because there's many rooms like this that are set up like home environments where you can meet with family and friends or us. If we want to go and have a group do something,
uh-huh.
we're not limited to just one room.
So I'm hearing that that's what makes you guys happy,
Uh-huh.
is to be able to have choice,
Exactly.
Yeah.
to be able to have input,
Mhm.
and to be able,
Personalized.
yes, and sometimes it might, you might not even know you like to garden, maybe, you did, Joyce, you knew that that was something that's a lifelong hobby that you like, but maybe JoJo never even tried gardening, but now she likes you, so she's like, I'll go out and try it. She might be like, I never knew I would like gardening.
Mhm.
You did, so see, so it's opening up your minds a little bit to
Mm.
see, maybe I might like something else as well, when you're given that variety and those opportunities. I'm curious if you guys, that there are some other things that are culture change practices, person-directed living practices that exist, and I'm curious about your opinions about this. One of the ones is to have like a cafe, restaurant, a tavern, a canteen, something along those lines, where you'd be able to get food or drinks whenever you wanted to get them. So you'd be able to get a snack, be able to get a cup of coffee, a tea, maybe a pop, something along those lines. How would that feel for you? Would you like something like that or not like something like that? Don't think about the dynamics of it being difficult. Just think about, would you or wouldn't you like something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be a cool thing to do. And maybe it's not something that could happen all the time,
Right.
but maybe it could happen at least even one day a week where there's coffee shop. You do coffee shop and you play music, patios open, different types of coffees could be served, or different types of creamers could be served to have in your coffees. So you could try the different types of creamers, and you could just have more of like a restaurant, coffee house, social atmosphere to it. Does that sound appealing?
Mhm.
Okay, so that's,
Wonderful.
oh, good. Yeah, Pam's all over that one. What about the ability to be able to cook or bake?
I wish we could do that more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know there was a ventilation issue only, like OT has a whole kitchen set up.
Uh-huh.
We could use, but there's a ventilation issue right now.
Uh-huh.
It's not vented to the outdoors. So if that were corrected, I think that would be an excellent thing. Oh, there's many of us that would like to have that as an activity.
Is that kitchen like handicap accessible? Well, it is.
Oh, yes.
I remember one of my last activities for occupational therapy was make a brownies,
Right.
and I think I was standing. I was standing, so I thought
We're not able to reach, we would not be able to do it on our own in
Okay.
wheelchairs,
okay,
but it's for the most part accessible. There's tables in there that are adjustable.
okay,
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
There are, but there's everything in there, all the, utensils you
Right.
might need, the spatulas, the whisks.
And now,
the
what if,
pots and pans.
what if you had a family member come, like your grandson came, and you have that cookie recipe that you really love to make? Would you be able to cook with your grandson when he came?
No. I don't think that would be allowed.
Okay, so that's the piece that the culture change people
Mhm.
really can allowed.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't you be allowed to cook if you could cook if you lived on your own?
Right,
If you have the abilities to be able to do it in a safe manner,
right.
and being able to do that, even if there's another family member there, or, if there's some way to be able to do those things. And these are all possibilities. We're sharing possibilities. They take planning,
Yeah.
they take thinking. It takes some, it always takes the naysayers to say, well, that's not gonna work because, but it also takes the people saying, but let's try anyway and
Mhm.
see how that feels.
I could see that being started on like a reservation type situation.
Yeah.
Where not everybody's gonna be able to do it right away,
Right.
but you reserve the kitchen. And it's not available all the time, like you're saying too. It's
Uh-huh.
only,
Yeah.
like certain days, certain time slots. and then people get to reserve it.
Yeah, and I have been in nursing homes that have allowed
That
that,
would be
where
great.
it's like, the soda bread recipe and say by St. Patrick's Day that their mother always made, and they want their mom to show them how to make it. So they get the ingredients, they come to the nursing home, and the nursing home, even sometimes there's portable ovens. Like
Mhm.
I have one in my kitchen. It's a toaster oven that bakes as well as deep fries. It does everything. It's kind of one of these ninja type
Yeah,
things,
yeah.
and that could be on a stand. So you could even do it in here if you
Right,
wanted
don't
to,
need to-
where you would be able to cook and do that sort of stuff. I've seen things like that happen as well. So again, just to get you guys thinking
Yeah.
about various ideas and how things can play out. The last one about on the same kind of an area is laundry. Do any of you guys like to do laundry?
I would prefer to do my own.
You prefer to do your
Because
own
of the
laundry?
situation we have here.
Yeah, laundry is hard when it's hard for any long-term care
It is.
community to do
It
laundry
is.
for all the people who live there and to
Exactly.
get it all back to the people who live
Mhm.
there properly, right? And then we also all have that thing, like, I'm just admiring your beautiful scarf, Joyce, because that really is so spring. It's so pretty.
Thank you.
But let's say tonight you take your clothes off and you put your top into the laundry, and by mistake you put the scarf in too. Now that goes to the wash, it goes to the dryer, and now your beautiful scarf is ruined. You would have had the ability to recognize that if you were doing your own laundry. You would have been like, whoops, didn't mean to put that in the dirty laundry. That sort of a thing. How would that feel if you had the opportunity to do your own laundry?
Like have a
Washer and
little-
dryer.
That'd be wonderful. That'd be-
Again, there's long-term care communities that do that. And many times it's the family members then come
Mhm.
and they do the laundry with the resident while they're sitting having a cup of coffee. So it's
Mhm.
going in the washer and they sit there and they're having coffee and they're visiting. And then when it beeps, put things into the dryer. Some things are shaken out and they're letting air dry and they have more coffee or they're playing cards and they're just letting life happen. So again, it's another idea, another thought, takes a lot of dynamics to it on how these things can work. It really does. None of this stuff is easy, but life isn't easy. And these are just culture change ideas about how to make the home be more community and community more home. Do you have it looks like you've got something to say, Jojo.
And if, when your laundry comes back, you lose pieces of your laundry. You
Yeah.
lose the pants, you lose the tops, you lose the socks. But how do you get them back?
That's where the tough part is when you do it for so many people at one time. Laundry is hard, and that is something that is just a hard thing. Every single nursing home that I've ever been in has had issues because you know what? In my own house, I'm sorry, my dryer eats socks. Right? I've got a whole bin. I really need to throw them away of socks that are only one. And I've gone through it sometimes when my kids would get in trouble in the summertime, particularly. That was one of their jobs that they'd have to do. I'd sit them with the big thing of socks and say, match them. And they come out with like 3 pairs, but it kept them busy. It worked to keep them busy and inside when they were in trouble. So now we're nearing the end of our hour. Can you believe it? That went so by so fast. Didn't it go by so fast? So I have one last question that I did want to ask each of you. And that was prompted by a pre-conversation that we had. Okay. And I'm going to start with you, Jojo, this time. Okay. And we're going to work our way back. What does empowerment mean to you?
Means that you can go yourself, get yourself into a wheelchair and push yourself. And, you can do things yourself without being, somebody helping you.
Okay. I like that. How about you, Pam? What does it mean to you?
I have to think about that. I don't have an answer, so go on and I'll think of one.
Okay. We're to Joyce. Joyce, what do you think about that?
I really feel, a lot of life is what you make it. And I feel like I've been empowered by becoming more independent and becoming my own patient advocate.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes speaking my mind when I used to bite my tongue.
Okay. And it's important to note that Joyce is the resident council president right now. So she is feeling very empowered. by even accepting that role
Yeah.
of being resident council president. And then we've got our vice president here, Trish. Trish, what does being empowered mean to you?
It's being able to speak up and take care of yourself to the extent you can. And then to be able to accept help. As the conversation you were alluding to was when I said there was a person here who said, well, I didn't get my shower. And I said, well, what day is your shower? And she told me, and I said, well, tomorrow's that day. So you have to set it up. You call your CNA and find out when it is. And if it isn't set, decide on a time. You can't let them just let it go by. You have to speak up. So the next day I asked her, did you set it up? And she said, no. So I walked up to the desk myself and I said, she needs to get a shower. And I told her how it's done. You know, you just have to ask someone
Uh-huh.
to set up a time.
Yep.
And you know. So the first say 6 to 8 months I was here, we were still in COVID protocol. So we were eating in a room. So I really didn't meet many people. But then once the dining room opened, I was there every day in the dining room, and I met a lot more people.
Uh-huh.
I saw how things worked and how maybe things I would want to do. Oh, they have an omelet. I'll have an omelet for breakfast. I didn't know you could get one. I didn't know I should ask. I thought on this piece of paper were all the choices. But it's not. So I learned a lot just by being out and about. And so I always think it's sad that people aren't out and about kind of participating in our community, because they would learn a lot and enjoy it more, I think.
So I'm hearing a lot about that community piece, and that's part of that empowerment, and even you helping to empower other people by sharing that with them. Great. Did you come up with an answer,
The only
Pam?
thing I can add to this, other than what's been said, is that, and I have found that in this particular place, people don't come out of their rooms, they don't go to the dining room. And I'm always telling people, well, you know, in the dining room, you have real stainless steel ware. You don't have to use a plastic fork or spoon. It is really nice when you get to make friends.
Mm-hmm.
And an awful lot of people don't use the dining room.
Yeah.
At lunchtime, we're lucky if we have 2 or 3 tables filled
Really?
with people. Yes, and it's a beautiful room, almost like a hotel setting,
Uh-huh.
and it's totally not used.
Huh. So that's interesting. So that be curious to explore why people don't want to come out from their rooms.
Mhm.
You know, maybe if we did more things to create more of a sense of community for everybody. It's obvious that you guys feel you have a sense of community here. And maybe part of that is because you are going out of your rooms to create
Mhm.
that. You've been proactive.
Mhm.
And the people that haven't been doing that, it's probably maybe they need to feel encouraged with that sense of community and feel more connected. So that and once you get in habits, I don't know about you guys, but I'm always that firm believer, when you first try something and you do something, and if it didn't work out well, you're not going to do it again. You're kind of like shy.
Mhm.
So maybe they had that first opportunity where they went into the dining room and they sat in somebody else's chair, that because we're creatures of habit as well.
Yeah.
So now they sat in that chair and the person was kind of like, well, what are you doing here? And then they're like, whoops, I'm not going back there again. That can happen. Or they were never encouraged from the beginning to go out. And then they got into ingrained habit. And now that they've been here for a while, they're like, why am I not going out? But I can't because I never did it before. So I feel uncomfortable trying it. So that's where you guys can maybe help as well. People feel more empowered and connected
Mhm.
that aren't maybe feeling that way. That might be something to help empower other people. We got a lot of comments here in the comments section. So I do just want to share some of those with all of you guys since you can't see them.
Mhm.
One person was questioning about the consumer, using the word consumer instead of resident, and was saying that consumer has many meanings, but not really sure if how consumer works or not works. And then someone else made a comment who actually you could tell works in long-term care, says we call them consumers. So consumers, that's one of the words. How do you guys feel about the word consumer? Instead of, I hear resident, you'd like resident.
Yeah.
I prefer resident.
Yeah.
You prefer
I
resident.
feel the consumer, I'm like shopping, or I'm in the grocery store, or yeah, I'm consuming. I
Okay.
feel it's like you're eating up something.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Whereas resident, I'm a part of something.
Okay, I think that's going to be very good feedback for people to hear that.
Okay.
Because yeah, that's where your mind goes. How about you, Jojo? Do you feel the same way with the word
Yeah.
consumer?
Mhm.
Okay, okay. And then also the name of the facility. So this is an interesting take, is that this individual works in a mental health facility. So there's a variety of different types of long-term care communities out there.
Mm.
And there's one that's referred to as a specialized mental health facility, and they're focused in on rehabbing people, getting people stabilized, making sure that they are compliant and they're taking their medications so that they can have a better productive, feel better about who they are, and integrate them back into the community. So they call them specialized mental health rehab facility. So this individual said that they like the word rehab for that type of community because it really is a rehab place. That's what they're doing there. And that might also equate to those people like the rehabbers that you guys were talking about. If we were to purely talk with them, they might be like, I don't want to call this place of,
My residents.
my residence. I want to
They
call it.
don't
And they are in the
usually.
majority here.
They
Yeah,
are in the
yeah.
majority here.
Mhm.
So that becomes then, how would you guys feel if they just referred to this as rehab? Would you feel it was not permanent for you?
The only thing I don't ever like hearing is when someone will say, I can't wait to go home, or I can't wait to get out of here. Because I feel like maybe then they haven't experienced what I've experienced.
Yes.
I feel bad for them. I feel sad for them. you
Yeah.
know? But, and then I feel like they need to maybe try to go to the dining room, try
Right.
an activity or, yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah. But but putting people into that perspective as well, if they are here for only a short period of time, they had that surgery probably, or they had that stroke and they're going to be going back home, but they had that catastrophic event that happened in their lives. They might be in a lot of pain at that given moment.
Right.
So I don't want to go out of my room. I don't want to meet anybody. I don't need to meet friends right now.
Yeah,
I just want to focus on getting better
and going.
and
home.
going home. And all I want to be connected to is the community outside. So I want my family coming in. I'd like my friends to come in. Maybe if I was a part of a book group and I can't be a book group because I had my knee surgery and I'm here for my knee surgery for rehab,
Mhm.
maybe I'd like to have my book group come in and meet in this beautiful room
Mhm.
and we could still do book group, but I don't need to make any new friends because I'm only here for rehab and I don't need to be pleasant to somebody that I don't know.
I can understand people come out of the hospital and they're, maybe something's happened, they're afraid, or they're in pain, or they
Yeah.
just don't want to leave their room, leave their bed. But if you're gonna be here for 6 weeks,
Yeah.
that's a long time to stay in your room.
It is, and that
Yeah.
might lead to some depression and stuff
Yes.
on top of it. I could see, yes, because then you become very one-dimensional as well.
Yeah, isolated.
Yeah, so maybe there's some things, maybe this is a good message to send to people that are either in that situation or staff who work in that situation to see if they could do some things to try to bring people together better so they can feel more
I
connected.
think people would come to I try to encourage people I meet to come to the dining room. You can sit with me.
Yeah.
I wish staff would kind of see people who are staying in the room and say, hey, would you like to go to the dining room? There's someone there, you can sit with them and they'll, help you pick out things off the menu or
Uh-huh,
tell you how to get what you want, something like that.
yeah. You guys do a welcome committee.
That we can't go into other people's rooms.
But what if you, by a welcome committee, it doesn't have to be going to somebody. Like when I did a lot of moving as a kid, and I remember one of the towns that we moved into, a basket, and it was not a fancy basket, but they put coupons in there for the local eateries. They had maybe like cleaner, because they know you're cleaning the house, things like that. But in a long-term care community, it could look like an activity calendar in a basket, or in a bag. Maybe a crossword puzzle book, something they can do on their own, maybe the name of the resident council president and vice president and where you could find them. Things to try to maybe make people feel connected.
I think what I've experienced, the 2 years I've been here, I've only been with rehabbers. I've never had a permanent roommate.
Okay.
I do share a room. And a lot of them, I try to encourage, like Trish, to try things, go to the dining room, whatever. And I feel like, I'm losing my point too. I just feel like that, in the long aspect, while I've been here, there is a little bit of, I don't know, like reluctance, it seems like. And then even with encouragement from us, like I think the staff idea is a great idea. And a welcoming committee is a great idea.
Mhm.
But a lot of the times the activity aids and people are coming in and asking questions, bombarding people the first day or two they get here, the therapy assessments. I've
A
noticed
lot going
of it
on.
Yeah,
The
those
first or
first few
second
days.
day, maybe like the third day they're here, might be a good day to do that welcoming from residents,
Mhm.
where they give them time to get in, get settled, their families already knows they're here.
Mhm.
And then if they have any questions and wanna start branching out, it might be a
Uh-huh.
better idea.
Mhm.
I've had
But-
people say, I've been here 2 weeks and I never knew there was a dining room.
Yeah.
And granted, I'm sure they were told, but they were probably just out of the hospital and weren't paying attention.
Yeah.
I know my
it is
first
a
night
lot,
here,
Yeah.
I was like, whatever, just show me a pillow.
Yeah, and somebody made a comment that it would be nice to have a welcome orientation booklet even, maybe like a map of the place, the staff's name, who the resident council president and vice president are, what day of the week they happen, activity count, something along those lines. So,
Yeah.
and that's, a welcome committee would be the one that would put that stuff together.
Mhm.
And you have to be the one who goes into the room, or you could just knock on their door and introduce yourself, or it could be left on their bed when they got here. They get here and there's this thing that welcomes them right on their bed, kind of like that hotel chocolate idea, you know, that sort of thing. And there were some great comments in here. Somebody said that one of the facilities they visited, they started a Spanish class because the residents requested that. So see what can happen. Another person said that they came for rehab and they didn't know, did not know I could go to residents' things or space, didn't understand what they can and can't do.
Yeah.
See, that's part of, that can be part of it, not understanding.
The rehabbers don't understand that they are considered residents.
Yeah.
So they don't know what they
don't
can
know
and can't
what
do.
it is.
So that might be something to do. Resident council meeting, doing it once a month and always adding things to the calendars from there. Some really great ideas in here. So just thank you so much, everybody, for sharing with this. I want to first of all thank you guys for an amazing conversation and for making my day. You guys really did make my day. It was wonderful to meet all of you. I appreciate you taking time out of your days to join us for this. And we really do appreciate you. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say bye from Shorewood, Illinois, but we will keep on the meeting after I stop the recording. So I do need to figure out how to stop the recording. There we go.